Have you ever been told to sing from your diaphragm, but you don't really know how to? Or maybe you feel that you run out of air while you're singing, and you feel that your voice is unstable. If that's the case, stay tuned because today we're going to see how to breathe more effectively while singing. In this video, we're going to explore the difference between shallow breathing and deep breathing, how to identify what your body is currently doing, a simple mirror exercise for beginners, what people actually mean by breathing from your diaphragm, because singing becomes much easier when your foundation is clear. If you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Jimena Cabrera. I am a singer, a songwriter, a vocal coach, and a founder of the Singing Panda, a singing academy where we help you develop your voice holistically, that is mentally, emotionally, and technically. And today we're going to start with a foundational skill, which is learning how to breathe. All right, ready? So we're going to begin with an experiment. I'm going to ask you to breathe in as much air as you can and then blow it out as if you were blowing out your birthday candles, okay? So breathe in as much air as you can and then breathe it out. I'm gonna try it, shall we? Yes, breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Breathe in as much air as you can and breathe out. Right, so did you notice what's going on in your body? What your body is doing? For this third time, we're going to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to ask you to look at yourself somewhere in a mirror that you have nearby. You can stop the video if you need to. So the assignment is for you to pay attention to what your body is doing while you are inhaling. What's going on? Is something moving? And how? So let's go again. Breathe in and breathe out. So what happened? So I teach students from all over the world, and what I see all the time happen when I give them this exercise is that usually what people all over the world tend to do, and this was maybe you as well, was that they tend to raise their shoulders, chest, and tense their neck when they are breathing in. When they are asked to breathe in a lot of air, that's what we tend to do, right? We picked this up somewhere, right? And we tend to actually engage muscles that are accessory to breathing. The muscles in our chest, shoulders, neck, okay? They're not necessary, not for the kind of breathing that we need for singing anyway. So if you were doing some of this, lifting your chest, your shoulders, stretching your neck a little bit maybe, yeah. So what was happening is that you were actually engaging in what we call shallow breathing. What is shallow breathing? Shallow breathing is often associated with tension. It's a kind of breathing that we use in fight or flight response when the body is preparing for stress. So shallow breathing is a type of breathing that we engage in when we perceive some kind of danger and we believe that we need to act quickly in response to that danger by escaping or fighting, right? So that is not the kind of message that you want to be sending to your body when you're singing. You want to be sending your body the message that it can relax, that it's safe to open up. Because for most of singing, what we need to be doing is to be allowing feelings to flow through us, be connecting with emotions that we have. So we do not want to feel that we are under a threat, right? So what we need is to be able to understand this difference first between what shallow breathing is and what deep breathing is, which is actually what we need for singing. For singing, we want a breathing pattern that gives us more space, more air capacity, and less unnecessary tension in the neck and shoulders. So what is deep breathing? Deep breathing means you engaging your belly muscles when you're singing. So as a result, you're going to feel that your belly expands when you're breathing in, and your rib cage also expands when you're breathing in. And there's no need for you to engage the muscles in your shoulders or your chest or your neck when you are singing. Like we said, those muscles are accessory to breathing. And if you want to have more air capacity and if you want to have a more stable sound, you want to engage your belly. Now we're going to do an exercise so this becomes clearer. So basically, for this exercise, I'm going to ask you to simply place a hand on your belly so that you're more aware of what your belly is doing, okay? And you can feel it expand. The hand is purely decorative. It doesn't need to be doing anything other than bringing you more awareness, okay? So you're going to be looking, like we said, at yourself in the mirror. And the idea is that you see what's going on with your body. You can notice how your belly expands when you breathe in. We're going to breathe in through our mouth, okay? So you're going to breathe in, and you're going to see and feel how your belly expands like a balloon, okay? At the beginning, when you're learning how to do this, this needs to be very obvious, and it's going to become more subtle as you learn how to do it. And well, in time, basically, this movement becomes very subtle, to the point where you cannot even notice it, and to the point where if someone is looking at you while you're doing it, they won't even notice it. And that's what happens when you look at, just singers in general performing on stage. You don't see them inflating their balloons, right? Their balloons, their bellies, like balloons. But basically what you want is to become more aware at the beginning. You want to teach your body what it needs to do, right? So essentially what you need to do is you need to be looking at yourself in the mirror, and you expand your belly, breathing in through your mouth, and then deflate it. And you contract it in one single movement, okay? So breathe in, and then breathe out. And you can repeat this exercise a few times. Know that if you're beginning to do these exercises, one thing that can happen to you is that you might become a little bit lightheaded, okay? So my advice is don't repeat this exercise too many times. Just give yourself, just the possibility to do it, but maybe repeat it 5 times, and then just give it a rest, and then you can resume the exercise later on during the day, as many times as you want, but do just a few repetitions each time. So let's go over it one more time. So basically you place your hand on your belly, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're breathing in through your mouth, you inflate your belly, making it very obvious. Doesn't matter, in time it won't be this obvious, and then you deflate your belly, and you see how your belly acts like a balloon. Yeah, so one more time, breathe in, breathe out. And if you are beginning to do these exercises and you've never done these exercises before, be mindful of what happens with your shoulders and your chest. Your shoulders and your chest are going to want to somehow be present, right? So you're going to be wanting to do some of this, or maybe some of that as well. So basically what you need to do is to be looking at yourself so that you have somehow some way of knowing what's going on with your body, and you can correct it over time. So just in case, your belly expands on inhale and your belly contracts on exhale. Repeat this 3 to 5 times, no more. And also, while you do, check your shoulders. Are they staying down? Is your chest as well staying down? Awareness is our first step. Diaphragm explained. Now, this concept of deep breathing, you may have heard it referred to as belly breathing, right? Which is essentially describing the same process of you expanding your belly when you breathe in and then contracting when you breathe out. Or you may have heard other vocal coaches refer to this as breathing into your diaphragm. So I think that it makes sense for us to now really understand what the diaphragm is and why it's so important for breathing. The diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle that sits beneath your rib cage. When you inhale deeply, your diaphragm descends. This creates more room for your lungs to expand. And that's one reason your belly may move outward. When you breathe out, the diaphragm goes back to its original dome-shaped position. So essentially, when we say breathe into your diaphragm or breathe into your belly, that is not something that I say, but I have heard other vocal coaches refer to this. So what we are saying is that you need to be engaging your belly muscles for breathing, and so that breathing becomes more effective. This is not to be taken literally. Obviously, air is going into your lungs, right? Not into your belly or your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is this muscle that helps you breathe and that is active when you breathe. And like we said before, part of learning to breathe is not learning to breathe from scratch because you've been breathing your whole life, but it's bringing more awareness into the process of breathing so that you are in more command of your breathing when you're singing. Why this matters for sound. So like we said in video 1 from this series, breathing is foundational. It's very important. If you are a singer, you're playing a wind instrument. Air is your fuel. So whatever happens when you're breathing is going to affect how you sound. So that's why it makes sense to do exercises and to become more aware of what's going on when you are breathing, right? I'm going to give you now another exercise that you can try to ground all of the information that you received in this video. Awareness exercise. So the exercise is as follows. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes when you're doing this exercise. I'm going to ask you to leave your mouth slightly open. You can try now if you want to. And place a hand again on your belly. And what I'm going to ask you to do is simply expand your belly, not try to breathe, actively breathe in, okay? Bring air into your lungs, but just see that only by expanding your belly, air comes in. So that's basically the idea of the exercise, for you to understand how it's not supposed to feel effortful when you are breathing, right? So basically, just close your eyes, expand your belly, and contract. You see how you cannot even hear me breathe in or breathe out, right? Because the only thing that I'm doing is expanding my belly. And just by expanding your belly, air comes in. And notice also how relaxing this exercise is. So I advise you to do it if you are under stress or in the morning, so that you have a great day ahead. I invite you to try to start your day by doing some of these repetitions of this exercise. Is going to center you and it's going to make you feel very relaxed. So let's do it one more time. So basically close your eyes, leave your mouth slightly open, and you expand your belly and contract. One more time, expand your belly and contract. One more time, expand your belly and contract. That's the exercise. But before we move on, I'd love to know what you felt while you were doing your breathing exercises. Were you able to keep your shoulders and chest down and only engage your belly? Tell me in the comments. If you are interested in going into more depth into how to breathe and into knowing how to lay solid foundations for your singing voice, I created for you an ebook that's called Roadmap to Singing Mastery, the Singing Panda Way, where we go in depth into breathing and into posture, into how to expand your vocal range and other areas of singing technique, but also we work on your mindset and your emotions, how you handle your emotions, what kind of beliefs you have, so that you can kickstart your singing journey with a lot of clarity, a lot of structure, and a lot of fun. So if you're interested, I'm going to leave a link in the description box below for you to check. In our next video, we're going to explore breath control and what happens when you breathe out. We're going to work on air pressure, stability, and a simple hiss exercise for singers. And like I always tell you, if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next videos coming up every single Friday. So for now, happy singing, everyone!